on the...
Hello and welcome back to Mzansi. It is that time of the night where we have to talk about things that are happening. Now it is things that are happening. Well, we're definitely gonna talk about the issue of Miss South Africa. Maybe look at it in a not only in one direction, a different direction.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you feel, and I'm gonna have this disclaimer because there are people who are going to feel strongly about this and say, maybe the words that have been used against us as South Africans, when I say against us, but
I don't think there's nothing wrong with the word. You can say it.
Yeah. So xenophobic. Yeah, no, we are going. I mean, I was thinking even for YouTube is against it.
No.
So
we are accused of being xenophobic.
Yes.
Every time.
We have to address
South
the
Africans
elephant in the room.
Who are of color. And like, but why, guys, are you doing this to us? Well, of course, it's not all. Of course, it's not. Some people have morals. Some people live honest lives and make honest livings. But in South Africa currently, it's not balancing.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's not. What is happening is very horrific and horrendous. There's so many issues. There's so many issues. And
let us not start with discussing them. Let us first lay the story because I don't want to fall in that trap.
We have fallen in that trap before in the past, and that's why we decided to let it go. Well, yeah. Today on the program, you guys, welcome back to the Mzansi Reality YouTube channel. We are going to be talking about two topics today. Okay, firstly, well, it's not really firstly, but later on in the show, we're going to talk about how Senzo Meyiwa actually said that the calls are rigged. He said the cell phone records are rigged. And he said this at a time where it was very, very dangerous to make such a bold statement. But he made it anyway because it looks, and it is a fact that he knows more about this case than any one of us. So yeah, he has been telling us all these explosive details bit by bit ever since and even before the trial began. So earlier this year, he did an interview with the publication, and again, he did not shake or shiver, and he did not even stutter. He talked as it is. He said the phone calls were rigged, and I know a lot of people were also upset when he exonerated Kelly Khumalo from the act of murder. Okay, and of being the mastermind. A lot of people were not happy with Sfiso Meyiwa. He even said that Kelly loved Senzo, and all of that I will be unpacking with Mr. Anonymous and more on today's broadcast. But first, let's start with the case of one of the contestants for the Miss South Africa pageant, who is facing a lot of backlash right now from patriotic South Africans. And I use this term on purpose because I realized this week that not all South Africans are patriotic. That's what I've realized from this situation, that we may all be in South Africa, but it does not necessarily mean that all of us are proud to be South African or want that identity of being called South African, because some people don't act like that. And I saw a lot of this coming from our very own celebrities and politicians. So there's a whole Chidimma situation is just a rabbit hole, you guys. It's a rabbit hole. A lot of things are happening with it. It's more than her. I would say it's bigger than her at this point, and it has exposed a lot of things. A lot of things to unpack. But for today, we're going to talk about the statement that was released by Home Affairs. Okay, South Africa or Miss South Africa, the pageant. Yesterday, they actually launched an application or an inquiry with Home Affairs to find out if one of their contestants, Chidimma Adetshina, is really a South African or not. So yesterday they filed that, and today the results came out. Home Affairs released a statement, and I want us to go through that statement together, you guys. I want us to read it so that I do not misinterpret anything in this situation. So it says here, ongoing Home Affairs investigation finds prima facie indications of fraud committed by Chidimma Adetshina's mother. So in this instance, they're saying that the fraud was not committed by the contestant herself, but it's rather her mother. The Department of Home Affairs herewith provides an update on the ongoing investigation into the citizenship of Chidimma Adetshina, a contestant in the upcoming Miss SA event. The reason for the ongoing nature of the investigation is that its scope has broadened since the original request received from the organizers of Miss SA. So yesterday, Miss SA is the ones that launched this request to find out what was going on, because the patriotic South Africans, especially on Twitter, did not want to let this one go. And in particular, we can speak of Kwena Mulekwa. She's been doing investigations, or rather releasing files. But yeah, that's another story all on its own. And since there's so much outrage, or I would say inquisitiveness, and I think what really launched this curiosity to find out whether Chidimma is South African or not was a video that was released, I think it was 2 weeks ago, where she was celebrating her getting to the top 12 in a sash of Miss South Africa, and the people around her celebrating with her were very questionable characters, because some people started accusing them of things, and I think that's where this whole situation was blown out, or it made a lot of traction. So now, because of that, people have been talking about Chidimma. She's been trending for a very long time. And also it says that as well as the consent provided by both the contestant and her mother, it said we will provide a final update once the investigations is concluded. On Monday, the 5th of August 2024, the organizers of the event sent the department a request to verify the citizenship of a contestant, Chidimma Adetshina. This request was accompanied by written consent from both Adetshina and her mother. Upon receiving this request, the department deployed every resource at its disposal to establish the truth.
The mother requested it?
No, it was accompanied by written consent. So it means Miss South Africa had to get consent from Adetshina and her mother.
And the mother...
to be allowed to be probed at Home Affairs.
And the mother...
they allowed it.
Okay.
Yes, they signed the consent form for that investigation to be done.
Okay.
So upon receiving this request, the department deployed every resource at its disposal to establish the truth. This has included archival research, visits to hospitals, and site visits to verify information. So from the information we have uncovered thus far, the Department of Home Affairs can indicate that prima facie reasons exist to believe that fraud and identity theft may have been committed by the person recorded in Home Affairs records as Chidimma Adetshina's mother. Adetshina could not have participated in the alleged unlawful actions of her mother, as she was an infant at the time when the activities took place in 2001. So she was a baby.
Look, right now,
An innocent
we
South
went past
African
that.
mother whose identity may have been stolen as part of the alleged fraud committed by Adetshina's mother suffered as a result because she could not register her child. The department has broadened its investigation to identify and pursue any officials involved in the alleged fraudulent scheme and
She
is
could not register her
obtaining,
child
yes, the
as a South
original,
African
as an original. Okay, here's
mother.
what they are saying here or alluding to here. What I'm picking up is that there's a woman who Chidimma Adetshina's mother took the identity of. And this woman has been having a hard time as a citizen of their country because her identity was stolen, having a hard time in her life of registering things, even registering her own children. That's what the statement is saying. So I'm going to read it again. The department has broadened its investigation to identify and pursue any officials involved in the alleged fraudulent scheme and is obtaining legal advice in the applications of the alleged fraudulent activity on Adetshina's citizenship status. So they're saying an innocent South African mother whose identity may have been stolen as part of the alleged fraud committed by Adetshina's mother suffered as a result because she could not register her child. So she has a child that she could not register because someone else was using her identity. So it says, upon the completion of the investigation, Home Affairs intends to press criminal charges against all implicated parties. There are ongoing engagements with all stakeholders, including Adetshina's mother. This case, which stems from alleged fraudulent activities committed 23 years ago, highlights the urgent need for the digital modernization of Home Affairs applications, adjudication and verification processes to insulate the department against fraudulent interference, similar to the reforms undertaken at the South African Revenue Services in the late 2000s. The case also highlights the reasons for the department's blocking of certain duplicate IDs and that the court ordered unblocking of these documents must be handled with caution. Throughout this process, Home Affairs is guided by our commitment to both restoring and upholding the rule of law as well as the rights of all parties. So, what is happening here is that when first it blew on social media, those who had done the research, they had said that they were looking at the mother of Chidimma Adetshina. She had a social media account, and on that social media account she had various flags, and they saw a Mozambican flag. So she was proudly professing her Mozambicanness and heritage on her social media. This is how it first started. And then they went and found out that Chidimma's father is Nigerian.
And she also had a flag of Nigeria.
She on her profile, Chidimma had two flags, a Mozambican flag and a Nigerian flag. No South African flag.
Yeah.
So already people were like, but why does she want to be Miss South Africa? Because she's not a South African. Her identity does not resonate with South Africa.
She doesn't even speak one language.
Native language. No, not even. I doubt she even speaks Afrikaans. You know,
she could speak Afrikaans. She studied in a white school.
Oh, she studied in a white school, but a native of people of color languages, none. And then the mother, they said she was Zulu. Those who came with the files, or I don't know where they got the files from, but they were saying that the mother is Zulu and is of Zulu heritage. But Zulu and Mozambican at the same time. And she was saying she was born in Soweto. No, she didn't say she was born in Soweto. She said she was renting a room or living in Soweto. That was the initial reports.
Yeah.
And then, of course, time goes by. People do even more and more digging. And after a lot of digging, the mother is still silent. The mother is not saying anything. The mother is not coming out to protect or to fight for her daughter to say, but I am a South African.
Yeah.
And then there were also
Which could have
claims.
been easier in any case.
Yes. There were also claims that came that actually, no, the Nigerian father of Chidimma Adetshina, who is Nigerian, is married to a South African woman. So this South African woman, there was a recording even on TikTok where it was alleged that that man who was explaining was Chidimma's father. But then some people were saying, no, it's a fake recording. So I don't know which one is which there, because that recording was more of explaining the situation. But now they were saying, no, it's not him. It's a fake recording. But besides the recording, what was reported or what I was hearing from the other side or the other parties of the story was that Chidimma's father married a South African woman, and that woman he married after Chidimma was born. So Chidimma was a bit older when his father married a South African woman. Right. So there's no way that the South African woman who's married to her Nigerian father could be her biological mother.
Yeah.
So still, the Mozambican or heritage of Zulu mother was still silent, not saying anything, not coming out to say, but I'm a South African. So now people are finding out that no, but the Nigerian father of Chidimma is married to a South African woman, and she has children with Chidimma's father, but Chidimma is not her daughter.
Yeah.
And then now more digging was done. More files. Should I speak about the other files, or should I just?
No, continue to speak.
There's more files that came out.
Yeah.
From Gwena's page. It's a lot to digest, but I was receiving them throughout the week. But I'm gonna summarize. So other reports were coming out now about Chidimma being married. Chidimma was married, and she married a Nigerian man. So more files were coming out about the Nigerian man that she married, and she married. They were married for a brief time, a short time. There was even a video circulating of their wedding as well. And people were now concerned even more that you are a South African. You claim to be a South African, but here you are marrying a Nigerian man, giving him citizenship, and yet you are.
So through the mistake, through the shenanigans of a mother, a new person now is coming in, which is a husband, because now Chidimma is a South African.
And she married.
Which later we find out she's not.
She might not be,
as the Home Affairs
is reporting now. So Chidimma's mother allegedly took someone's identity so she can become a citizen in the country, which is very wrong and illegal.
Someone is saying best constitution in the world. South Africa belongs to everyone who lives in
everyone who lives in it, right? That right there is the problem why people are very entitled, even more entitled than us. It becomes this type of problem.
And
then now there's more files, of course, about Chidimma's ex-husband. The ex-husband is said to be affiliated with the criminal element of Nigeria. Not necessarily Nigeria per se, but there's this mafia called the Black Axe that is based in Cape Town, from what I hear from the reports. I know nothing about it. It's allegations. Everything is alleged. But there's a Black Axe mafia, and the husband that Chidimma was married to is apparently allegedly connected to. And apparently he's running clubs in Sandton. Multiple clubs in Sandton. That's the reports or the allegations that were surfacing. So now Chidimma is not only having questionable citizenship, but that element that South Africans dread the most about this, the criminal element side, now surfaced.
Power.
And also, now that Miss South Africa, and I feel like Miss South Africa was forced, that's my opinion, I feel like Miss South Africa was forced to this inquest that they did with Home Affairs. Because now, because Miss South Africa, all these months, they've kind of been ignoring and calling it a social media thing. What ended up happening is now investigations were done on Miss South Africa, the organization now.
Yeah.
What's happening in there?
Who's in charge?
All because of Chidimma.
Yeah.
Now, more files are released. My God. And released that who owns Miss South Africa? Because even Gayton Mackenzie was saying that Miss South Africa is a private company. So Miss South Africa is not a government thing. No.
Hint. He was giving, in my opinion, he was giving hint. Gayton Mackenzie was giving hint as to how to look at this thing.
He said it's a private company.
Why would you say that?
And then investigations were done. Guys, and then it discovers that there's a lady who runs Miss South Africa. Now that lady who runs Miss South Africa allegedly is in a lot of debt. Alleged. Those were the allegations. There's allegations. And now it's like, but who does she owe so much? You understand? And then people started putting two and two and connecting the dots together to say that, but no, if she's in a lot of debt, then she must probably own the alleged mafia of the Nigeria. And, you know, allegedly.
Yeah.
And then they're like, maybe she's hamstrung. Maybe that's why Chidimma is there. By fire, by force.
Okay.
And then there was that video again where she decided to celebrate her getting into top 12. And like I mentioned earlier, people started questioning the people that were around her. It seemed like people knew the people that were busy there celebrating. Hey, they made allegations that these people are part of the criminal side of things. Some of them were saying, accusing some of them of hijacking their properties. So that's where this whole thing started. And I was thinking to myself, but Chidimma, when people that you are affiliated with started getting exposed like this, why are you not withdrawing?
No, you know, she's stubborn, in my opinion.
She even released a message on Twitter to say that, I can't quite remember, not Twitter, Instagram. She said that she's not, it was about the recording of the man who was explaining the situation, and she said that's not her father. And I'm like, but girl, you only choose to address this over so much that is happening around you. Why are you not withdrawing from Miss South Africa? Why the arrogance? Because even scrolling through her TikTok, I went to that TikTok page. Her heritage is Nigerian, Mozambican. There's no South Africa there. She's very proud of her heritage, and there's nothing wrong with it. Right? There's nothing wrong with being proud of where she comes from.
There's nothing wrong.
In South Africa, we don't have a problem with that. People hold on to their cultures. We won't. But why do you want to now be Miss South Africa? Yabana, that's where the problem comes in. That you hold on to a heritage that has its own country.
Yeah, let's press the like button, guys. I have a different view.
Okay.
My view, I know that for many years, we've been called xenophobic.
Many years.
Everything that is wrong or right,
when we point it
out, South Africa is xenophobic. What irritates any South African who's woke, who's up, is not our brothers or our sisters from other countries. That is not what irritates most South Africans. What irritates most South Africans is what is happening in our watch. What irritates South African is not people coming and working in South Africa, but it is now labeled as if South Africans are irritated by that. And even politicians use this card, they play this card. But what irritates South Africans is that if you come here illegal, these people, the nannies or whatsoever that you might think of, these jobs that do not normally require qualifications, you come here and do them. And then most of the time you do them at the cheaper price. Do you understand?
Below minimum wage.
Yes. And then you it's good for you. You can hire maybe a shack in Diepsloot or in Alexander or anywhere else where you are, which probably you'll be paying maybe 500 at most, and then everything else ugesi probably zinyoga. That's another problem that we need to talk about. There's people that pay tax right now.
I know in the CBD who would share like a flat, and there's like more than 5 of them or 10 sometimes,
which is not benefiting our economy. Right now, there is this charge in electricity that has been prepaid electricity. This 200 and something
extra, yes,
because of such nyoga and all these other things that are happening. Illegal
electricity connections.
So,
and we're not saying that
no, we're not, but
people from outside are the only ones
the consumers,
who are doing it.
the consumers of it. It's not only people from outside and other people also. We people who are paying tax, we suffer through that. We suffer through all the other things. But now here's the big thing. We need, as much as we are Africans, Pan-Africanism, we still need to keep our values, our culture, and we still need people that have South Africa at the best heart. As much as people who love South Africa, who were born in South Africa, people who love South Africa, they don't have anywhere else to go. Should people say, for the lack of a better word, shit hit the fence. Yes. So what is currently happening in many countries, that there is this takeover of the Westerns and all these things. What they normally do is they take people who are not born or who are not naturally from that country. They give them positions. Politically, those people, they have no attachments to that country or whatsoever. Nothing.
True.
Like, for instance, in this case, if she won, a Miss South Africa is representing a Mtlalipulo or some Rirato in Soweto, you know, what the values and everything,
like Zozi,
like Zozi, for example, you know, a young kid in South Africa who's still young, my daughter or anyone else's daughter, is looking up and saying it's possible to come from the Bundus and make
the
it.
Villages.
Do you understand? And then you have someone who has none of those things representing such a position. None of those things. It
creates a disconnect.
None
creates
of those
a problem.
Things.
And I see other people are trying to use the people of no color argument to say that it seems like
we fought that part, Emil. We fought that. Our forefathers fought that battle. They lost. There is no shame in that. They won some, they lost the most. The most important one that would have taken these people out of our country. we lost that battle. The question is, should we go back to that? Because it seems as if our brothers, our sisters who should be protecting us, they want to take over also.
And another thing that I've seen that troubles me with the mentality, most African countries have, one would say, pushed people of no color out, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But if you have succeeded in doing that and you are saying you have the land and you have everything, then why or not all, but why is the majority now coming to this one in the South where the people of no color still have power?
Exactly. Some of them, they are even going to those countries, Western. That's
UK.
why the issue recently, the issue of Argentina mocking France, because France is literally taken by Africans who are playing there. They are winning World Cups and everything.
Exactly.
So it was said to be something else, which I don't understand where it moved from, where it is supposed, what is supposed to be, which is we need to represent our countries to the R weight. I don't know how it moved there. I still cannot fathom what is wrong that Enzo and the rest of the team of Argentina did. I am not one of those people who are saying they were wrong. I feel like they were speaking the truth.
They were telling the truth.
They were telling the truth.
Team of France it's a lot of Africans in it.
Your Pogbas, your N'Golo Kante, your you can name them. They didn't
tell a lie. They didn't tell a lie. And
when you're playing against France, I mean, Morocco playing against France, one could have said Morocco is actually France. France is Morocco. It's the truth. There's nothing wrong with that. That my mother comes from South Africa, I'm playing for France. It's the truth.
And also, our African brothers and sisters, please understand this. South Africans are not xenophobic.
They are not.
It's a media thing.
Yes.
A media thing. They gave it that label and they didn't want to hear the native South Africans when they were crying. So to shut them up, they always give labels to that part of the struggle. Remember with our history where we come from.
It's the same thing that is happening right now. Let us make a practical example that people will understand that is far away from. Take, for example, the loss of ANC losing the power, the 2/3 majority.
Yes.
To 40%.
Yes.
Instead of ANC owning up to we have messed up for all these years, we really could have done better. We are sorry. We are going to do better than next time. What they say is it's a tribal politics. So they are basically saying KZN is the reason why ANC lost.
Instead of
owning up to all that they've put us through, as much as there are good things that are happening, instead of them owning up, they're saying, no, this is a Zulu thing.
So that happens a lot when there's no space. Because one thing about South Africans, we like to talk. We like to converse our way out of situations. We like to talk. We like to communicate. So whenever native South Africans are crying and they're having a crisis about something, the media has a tendency of wanting to shut them up. I don't know why. That's my experience living in South Africa and growing up in South Africa and seeing that whenever there's a cry, we can look at even at Marikana, for example. When Marikana happened and the mine workers there wanted a salary increase from your 6,000 rand, 3,000 rand that they were getting to 12.5, there was no room or space to negotiate or even talk.
Yeah.
Because the people that were demanding such were people of color.
Yes.
In South Africa. So that the people of color in South Africa, when they organize, no one wants to listen to them.
No. No
We
one.
even saw it with MK itself.
No one.
Just
No one.
recently.
No one is willing to listen to that.
No one wants to listen.
So it's gonna be an issue of us division. We're gonna fight amongst ourselves. Actually, there's gonna be someone coming from KZN debating and fighting with someone coming from Eastern Cape or coming from. That's a problem. We cannot speak with one voice.
Even now with the Chidimma situation, there are people who were creating excuses around those who wanted to know or inquire about her citizenship. There were other people who were saying, but you don't do this to people of no color. But who has ever launched an investigation into a particular person of no color? Why don't you do that instead? Why don't you come with facts or come with receipts or come with something to get people to respond in a manner that people were responding to Chidimma? Chidimma, people were responding because receipts were coming out. It wasn't a matter of, oh, it's allegations or we can't base this on anything. Stuff were coming out that were very troubling and worrying. Why are you not launching that with the people that you feel, because they are of no color, something is wrong with their citizenship?
There are people who have things that are happening. Let me put it, not even try to hide behind the bushes.
But why not investigate?
Don't even but. I'm just gonna say it as it is. You cannot investigate a person of no color in South Africa. The courts will not allow you, in my own opinion. It's my opinion.
Again, a problem we have.
It's the problem we talk about even in Senzo's case.
Yes.
Some of you want a judge of no color. There is a reason why that is the case. There's a reason. There's a reason why we say we are not in favor of Roman Dutch law. So that is not even an issue. The issue is that we are busy with the crumbs.
Yes.
Now you come, you want to take all those crumbs. That's where the problem starts.
That's where the problem starts.
And I'm not going to hide behind, hey, we are busy with the crumbs. Our crumbs that are coming from our masters.
True.
And then now we are figure. And then our master now they are even reducing the crumbs.
Yes, because they like this
environment.
Chaos
now
going on.
Ask yourself, why is it that when we talk about the borders and everything, the people who fight these battles are these organization of people of no color?
And did you see that the Human Rights Commission, they have literally on their executive and board, most of the people, there was a Veiws released the screenshot sometime last year, and there's literally people who are not South African, native South Africans.
That's what I'm talking about.
Board.
That's what I'm talking about.
It blew my mind.
Of South Africa, they are not far away from being created by the people that should be loving us as much as we love them. They are not far away from that. One of these days, I'm saying this, one of these days, you will have a president who's non-South African. And this is where this thing is going.
We are being tested.
And once that president sits there, he's not going to be in charge.
No.
Already we have a situation where, in my opinion, the South African president, you cannot literally say they are in charge. Imagine if you have things that you have to sit on, such as this one, that you are not a South African, you are even worse enemy. You become a mess because they tell you.
Become a stooge,
yes.
A puppet. You just sit there and you do whatever you're told to do.
No feeling or whatsoever.
When the people of that country are crying, you have no connection. You don't care.
You cannot relate.
No,
they're not
can't.
yours. As much as you are an African, we cannot hide away from that.
No.
We were selling each other during those times.
Yeah,
we were selling each other. There were countries that are marked as countries that were actually literally specializing on that. We cannot hide away from that.
It was a market. True. It is so true.
So We have cultures. We are Africa. Yes, we are people of color. But we have cultures. And we cannot afford to kill those cultures, those values that define us as people. We must not allow that. Because once we do that, we do not have a direction. We will never have a direction.
And sometimes I feel like, I don't know if it's safe to say this, but sometimes I feel like we are being diluted so that at
that's
the
what
end,
I'm trying to say.
At the end, there will be no one who can say, that's my father's or my great-grandfather's land.
Do you understand?
I want it
Yes,
back.
there's no ownership.
I feel like that's where they want a do-over.
You see, what pains me is that they don't dilute themselves.
No, never.
There's always going to be English and the other language. They don't dilute themselves. They will never do that. That's why there are people who can speak their language, but still they do not associate with those people. It's not a secret. So if you lose that part, if I can lose that part, I can never own or claim my forefathers' land.
No.
I can't. Because who am I? I could go claim that side of Nigeria, or I could go, if I'm Jew, they will tell you, hey chief, actually you don't belong here. And one day they will wake up and change the laws and say, if you have dual citizens, you don't have a right to claim land in South Africa. What would you do?
What will you do? Because we're not paying attention. I know some people may not know what are these people talking about.
It's crazy.
But I have learned that, Mr. Anonymous, we shouldn't hold back. If we know something, just say it. Because you may not get it now, but you will get it.
One day you'll get it.
In the future.
Hey, what?
And then you'll come back and say,
about?
Same thing happened even with the trial of Senzo Meyiwa. It happened.
Takes time.
It takes time. So some of the things that when we say them right now, it sounds like madness and craziness. But in time you will get it. You will start seeing it. You'll go to, this is actually what is happening.
We already have a new culture of clever blacks.
Mm-hmm.
That's a new culture.
They're very problematic.
A culture
as well.
that lacks a bit of thinking, a third eye.
And no empathy towards
They have
natives.
no empathy or whatsoever. They just are people that exist.
Deputy
In fact, they
whites.
despise the values of their own. Some of them, they're on YouTube.
Yes.
A person would come and tell you, actually, I don't associate with a certain tribe. While your mother and your father, you have them. What does it give you? What exactly? That's what they want.
Or some
Such
of
people.
them support policies that do not work for people like us. For example, there's some who were supporting no minimum wage should be removed. And I'm like, what is going on with you?
Exactly. We have people who think like that.
What is going on with you? What is wrong?
And it does not just happen. It starts there. It starts changing that culture, diluting it and fighting it. The most talked about tribe in South Africa is Zulus, and there's a reason. For some weird reasons, they've managed for as much as they can to stay together. Then you hear people, hey, Zulus don't speak other languages. Yes, we don't, because from where we come from, who's our neighbor?
Majority.
Who's our neighbor that we can speak? It's Eastern Cape.
Eastern Cape. It's Eastern Cape.
And we understand each other in Eastern Cape. You come to Mpumalanga, people there speak Swati and other languages, mostly Swati. If you come from KZN, from Volkras going up, you find Swatis there. So it's difficult for us to understand other people's language. But now there's this drive. Please understand other people's language. Because once we do that, then some of us cannot associate themselves with Zulus. If I can speak Tswana fluently, why should I practice only my culture? I should always go practice others, not appreciate. Because there's a difference between going and watch. I love Tswana dance, for example. I appreciate them.
But just because you love the Tswana dance,
I cannot now say that.
You lose your own cultural dance.
Yes.
I see what you're trying.
So that is the problem that we have. That is the problem that we have.
They're wanting to dilute, especially the South African natives.
Yes.
Yeah, but now the South African natives,
they are undersized. And they don't understand. They don't understand. They think this
keep
you guys
your culture.
Yes.
Keep your culture. Keep it.
As much
keep
as,
that surname.
You know, I watched this other man of...
Know who your forefathers are and your foremothers. Know who they are.
I watched this man of no color was saying, saying the B word, B tribe. We are a small tribe, but we keep our culture. Why are you... He was actually shouting at Zulus. Is there on TikTok? He's right. These people, they preserve their culture.
They do.
Their history. They forget conveniently or tell wrong stories.
You mean the Afrikaner?
Yes.
Yes, they do. They do. And sometimes...
What gives them pain, they don't remember that. They only remember what makes them...
In fact, now they are working on an Afrikaans university, by the way, you guys. The construction has already begun.
But it's fine. We might not make sense now. But all I'm saying is that why all this fight?
Why are we fighting?
Why are we fighting? You know, I stayed at the closer to this other place. This guy who comes from Zimbabwe.
Yes.
People there said no. It's a development. It's a development of people of color. Let us keep this place clean. Let us avoid taverns. Let us avoid what. This guy comes with the money that he got. I mean, he's dealing in stuff that we were talking about. Bad stuff.
Illegal substances.
Yes. He bought a house. He builds a tavern.
Wow.
And he goes to those people of ours who are there. I don't even know if they are ours. Those people who just release liquor licenses. I mean, how? It's a Nyobeni situation. Is it a Nyobeni?
Yes, it's a Nyobeni in the Eastern Cape.
The lady who was a neighbor of that person had to sell that house. He was forced, bulldozed to sell that house to that man. So that he can grow. That's the problem we have. If we are not, yes,
I'm even hearing that
if you are not from South Africa, if you are not from Nigeria and you are with Nigerian people and you find that the government is also corrupt, you do not think about those people. You do not think about those people.
There's also now another whole problem of when South African natives open spaza shops, the immigrants who now have that market, where are they from? I think it's Somalians. I think so. Yes, in the townships, mostly of them, and Pakistanis and there's a lot. It's a mix situation. Some of them, not all of them, of course. Some of them have organized themselves to such an extent that whenever they see a South African opening something similar, a similar type of business, they take them out.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
There are reports that are coming.
So it's fine. I don't even want to talk about those things anymore because you go further, it makes noise.
Yeah, and then we are called.
And then we are called names. But let us be honest, guys. If we love each other, as we claim that we love each other, I can tell you, we. When I say we, I mean every African who's African of color. We actually don't love ourselves. We lie to each other. We don't.
We deceive each other.
We deceive each other. We don't love each other. You cannot take my kid from school and export them to someone you don't even know for money if you love your brother. You can't do that. You can't. You know, even a small crime. So talk about small crimes. You know, when we grew up with a lot of criminals. They will tell you, you do not do crime where you stay. There is a reason for that. Because they are connected to those people. It's not that they cannot do it. They can. But because they look at those people as their grannies, as their sisters, as their mothers, in that area, they will not do anything.
It's like destroying your own home.
Exactly. You don't destroy your own home.
And we thought that South Africa
so
was
once now you
refuge.
once you lose that as a South African, as a person who's claiming to be a South African, what are you left with? You are a dangerous person. You are a beast. You can literally do anything. You can sell our land with 50 cents. You can do anything, straightforward. That's how I can put it. You can just, if they come and say, hey, we'll give you these businesses, just you sign over. That's why it's important to have natives be in charge of the area that they occupy. Because
they will love. It's in here.
Even if you want to sell out, you would sell out and then you would turn. Because you feel like, ish, but this is my home.
These are my people.
These are my people. The land I'm selling, some of it is for my forefathers. But let's forget about that story. Let's talk about Sfiso.
Yeah, and I'm hearing a lot of people also saying that at moments like this, you really miss AKA.
No, he was honest.
May his soul rest in peace. AKA was, I think, the only South African celebrity who
don't
was
tell
patriotic.
Me about these celebrities. They take any money that comes. Don't tell me about celebrities. You tell me about people who do, some of them
I'm so embarrassed.
Indulge in these products. And then you say those people are speaking for us. They're not speaking for us. I mean, how can you go without the research? You go on social media and defend as if you know. Don't tell me about these hobos. Some of them, these hobos, you tell me about them. And
it's also looking at South African natives as enemies. Why are you doing that?
These are never the people. Defend your own people. No. You are always against your people. How are we supposed to take you serious?
They are enemies. They are bullies. They are what? There's a concern. You as a South African should also be concerned. Why are you not concerned?
Some of them, they even want us to support their businesses. How are we supposed to support your businesses?
How do we do that when you hate us? How? Please tell me, how do we do that when you don't like us? You don't like us.
You South Africans don't support each other. Yes. Because you don't also support South Africans yourself. Who are you, by the way?
Why didn't you at least find out before you formulate that opinion? Why not? Or wait. If you are lazy to research, then wait. Sit on it like we did here on Mzansi Reality, because we didn't want to just spew without context.
Fine, let's continue.
Okay, now I'm moving on to the issue of Sfiso Meyiwa. I mean, I think it was around the time that Brigadier Gininda was testifying, you guys, in that courtroom. Sfiso Meyiwa had actually come out to say that those cell phone records were rigged. And he said it with boldness. Okay, I don't have a footage because this is from print media. It was from Drum. And I was like, Sfiso is not missing. There's no point where Sfiso is missing. Well, he spoke to a publication, Drum, in February earlier this year. And it seems like he's getting vindicated when we are following the court proceedings. He did not mince his words at all, you guys. At the time, Sfiso said that he was happy with how the trial was progressing. Well, I can't help but wonder if he's happy now after what just happened yesterday. But we'll wait if he does agree to do an interview. So he said, Sfiso, that the 2014 death of Bafana goalkeeper Senzo Meyiwa was just another was not just another scoop, but a reminder that the system will always fail the poor and they will never get the closure that they seek. He said that when people say it so proudly that it's almost a decade since the death of my brother, we are reminded that the justice system is so corrupt and we are far from finding out who killed my brother. A decade is not an achievement. If we are still unable to talk about the death of my brother with my mother, we have now decided that we will no longer update her about what is happening in court because her health is deteriorating. We lost our father. We don't want to lose our mother because of this failed system. No, the system has failed the Meyiwa family. It has. We are not even going to brush it or sanitize it. They have failed this family. So what people perceive as tea, he said, or, tea, for those who don't understand what tea is when you refer to umgosi, when you refer to the juiciness of a story, or when you refer to dikgang, ditaba, news.
I think they get this.
In the Meyiwa case, is something that his family already knew, and they can't wait for the court proceedings to get to the part where everyone who was in the house in October 2014 to tell the truth. Now, since the new presiding officer, Judge Ratam Khwatleng, started, the family has seen progress and a lot has been revealed, with Kelly Khumalo being mentioned in court. Sfiso said at the time, this is February of this year, only one person will reveal it all, and he is hopeful that that person would be called to the witness box. He said that the last time he spoke to the publication, he told them that there is a second docket that implicates his brother's girlfriend, Ukeli Khumalo. However, there's a police official who can stand in that box in case the case would be concluded in less than a month, as opposed to all these years of them watching and hoping that they get to the truth. Sfiso said that he was happy that Colonel Bongani Gininda, the lead investigator in the trial, had finally taken the stand. However, he got annoyed because Gininda was allegedly lying. He said that there is an officer who will get on the box, who is the one who has the evidence and was the one who opened the case against Gininda of defeating the ends of justice.
One can only assume that is Warrant Officer Makubo or maybe Joyce Uteles.
Maybe. And Gininda won't speak the truth. He lied from the beginning, and he is now protecting himself because he knows that there is a case against him. Gininda linked the singer Kelly Khumalo with one of the accused on the matter. Of course, now in court we're discovering and exploring that linkage, the discrepancies, the numbers that were said to be of accused number 5 that belonged to Adama Fokati, and another number it's alleged that it belonged to Senzo Meyiwa. Okay, so now staying, we are going to wait for him next week to come and explain this mess, because an application is granted for him to come back and try to rectify the situation. And Sfiso said that at the time, as the family, the only reason they want the police to arrest Kelly is because she allegedly hid the truth, which is how I feel a majority of us feel. That the father of your child passes away, the man you said you love passes away, and you all are coming together to keep the truth from coming out. I feel like for now, that's the only thing that the Meyiwa family would want justice when it comes to Kelly. So this whole thing that Kelly is linked to the accused, allegedly, this whole thing that Kelly is linked to the accused in the case is not true. Kelly doesn't know these guys. This is what Sfiso was saying, that Kelly doesn't know these guys, and the officer that he was talking about then would come to court and reveal that. The call records, he said, are rigged. The ones that are being used in that court, the ones that Steyn initially had brought, because this time he was speaking about Steyn. In fact, there's a clip of him from the ENC interview where he was saying, hey, bazoboshwa laba bantu laba. Ayikho leyo nto le, ayikho. Where at the time that Steyn was on the stand, he conducted an interview with ENCA, and he was saying this. So he continued to say, but I'm happy that the accused will give their testimony in court. A lot will be revealed, and this will push the state to call more witnesses who will reveal more information that will lead the court in the right direction. Sfiso said that his mother doesn't talk about this case anymore because it hurts her that her son is dead and they are using money to conceal the truth. He said that his mother says that she can't wait for all of this to be over. In everything that is happening, Sfiso said that he knows that Kelly and Senzo were in love, and when he was with them, he saw two people who loved each other. It is hard to be poor in South Africa when you seek the truth. But he said
the video.
That he thinks that there is light at the end of the tunnel. The accused men must hang in there because all will be exposed. A person is dead and we want evidence. Some people are busy paying people so that they don't speak the truth. It is very painful, but we are hopeful as a family that we will get to the answer and start our healing process. So to the Meyiwa family, finding the people responsible for the death of their son, brother and father is more important than the drama happening at the Pretoria High Court. So yeah, guys, he called it. Sfiso Meyiwa said they are rigged, those cell phone records.
So if these cell phone records are rigged, what about that, what is it, tracking record that was used? What is it called?
The tracker, the tracking system.
What was it
AVL.
called? AVL. What about the gun?
What about the ballistic report?
And you hear the story of how this gun survived. It's a mess. You look at that AVL loading at convenient time where it's supposed to point at the hospital.
GPS unlocked.
Yeah. I mean,
you look at Ntanzi's transactions.
You cannot dumbsuck
after
these
he
things.
got paid and had the salary.
You cannot dumbsuck these things, man. We are under search, and not only us, worse for the family, because I'm sure what they are feeling is even
worse.
This case, I hear many people say, I need a break for my sanity. People who are just following this case.
Yes.
What about the people who lost a son, a brother, a father? What about those people?
They're going through the most. Watching people kind of perform like this in court, it's a lot. I like I said initially that I had hoped that Senzo's mom is not really following it like that.
Right.
I hope it remains like that for her health.
Yeah, I think it's only fair. Guys, if you have anything to say with regards to these topics, press that like button. Become a member,
press the
subscribe.
like button.
It's not a fight. This is an open discussion, and we hope
No,
to
we're
be
not
free.
fighting.
We hope to be free in this channel. We do hope that one day we will speak without certain people catching feelings.
Yes, and then also we are aware of you guys who are international and are from other African countries, and we love you all so much, and we appreciate you over here at the channel.
So
Asili, we're not fighting, okay?
So let us guys have calls if you guys want to say something in any of these topics.
Yeah.
Those who have not pressed the like button, it's 365, please press the like button. Remember, this video relies on you pressing the like button for it to go and be seen by other people. That's what you require.
You know what makes relationships and relations stronger? It's communication.
I know you're trying to justify.
No, I'm not justifying. I'm trying to articulate something. I need time because I don't want to sound like I am going to be hurting other people. So I have to think about what I'm saying before I say it. Today I found out information. I don't know whether, Mr. Anonymous, you were comfortable in me sharing that information. No, you're not.
Do share.
No, you're not. You always give me these faces. No.
Do share.
Let me rather drop it. Guys, call in. Give us your opinion. Maybe I'll share it later on if you guys move in that direction. But then what I'm trying to emphasize here is that if we do not talk, we will not fix anything. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, you're trying to say if we don't talk, we will not fix anything.
If we do not communicate, if we don't talk, if we are stopping other people from talking, we will never actually get together.
Yeah.
That will never happen. If someone is crying and saying, "Oh, I'm in pain," and we're like, "Shut up," we're never going to build anything.
We will hate each other.
Yes. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But Mr. Anonymous is giving me funny looks.
What funny looks?
Because you're afraid I'm going to put my foot in my mouth.
That's what I always
This
say.
is why I don't like talking about these topics.
No, you can talk. Let me plug, you can talk. Guys, I know that Emily is trying to make me sound like a bad person, but you know why I always look at her? Because she's the one who taught me the guidelines.
No, hello. But it's not the guidelines. I want my opinion.
Ninjani.
Siyaphila njani?
Siyaphila Emily no Mr. Ano nikhuluma noLindeni bakithi la eEngland.
Hi Lindeni.
Ngicela nje ukuthi nje ngiqale nje ngithi ukuventa kancane ngale topic yeni yoqale kade nikhuluma ngayo. Bafethu, ngithe mengabe nithinta lesihloko nangimphumela etholakalayo yase home affairs. Inhliziyo yami bebhlungu kakhulu. Why inhliziyo yami babhlungu kakhulu? It's because I have a brother ekhaya su6.
Yeah.
Bese kuzoba khona umfana ongilamayo. Umfana ongilamayo ama fingerprint wakhe akasebenzi, iID yakhe ayisebenzi, kade ezama ukuyilungisa lento home affairs ayilungi. Uthiwa usherisha iID number nomunye umuntu angamazi. Siyazibuza ukuthi kwenzakala kanjani lokho. It's been years manje. Akasazi na ukuthi kumele enze kanjani. So uma ngabe sekuzoqhamuka izinto ezifana nalezi, and then uyazibuza ukuthi kanti ngempela kwenzakalani eMzansi ka home affairs yini lena abayenzayo? Why behlukumeza abantu abaphila eMzansi? Nike naphatha elinye iphonti la nimeni ngabe nithi Mr. Anonymous no Emily.
Yebo.
Umuntu ongekaze azakwazi ukuthi ahamba kwelinye ilizwe, umuntu obelong eSouth Africa. Uma ngabe umuntu obelong eSouth Africa esengasakwazi kwenza lutho belong eSouth Africa, kodwa khona umuntu ongabelong eSouth Africa kodwa yena uyakwazi ukuthi enze izinto zenzeke. Uyakwazi ukuthi angenele ipageant le yo Miss South Africa. Into esikholelwa ukuthi into ekumele ingenelelwe abantu baseMzansi bese kuzothiwa egcineni sinobandlululo. Ngoba yini? Why? Why? Bafethu, ngithanda ukuthi ngiyabonga, niyasikhuthaza ngezinto enisifundisa zona, kuningi esifunda kona la ku Reality Mzansi. Niqhubeke bafethu, ningapheli umoya, siyanithanda kakhulu.
Siyabonga.
Yebo papa yini.
Ay siyabonga. You've said it all, and shortly translated, she's having, I think it's a brother.
Yeah, a brother.
The brother is having issues with his ID as well, identification. It's a similar situation where his ID is being used by somebody else. His fingerprints are taken at Home Affairs. He's constantly going to Home Affairs to try and get this resolved, and he's not working. His life is stuck. All because someone took his identity.
Yeah, I know also one guy who's older than me. I grew up, I studied, that guy is still there at home. Now, he just drinks alcohol, shame. There's nothing he can do.
And what can you do?
Yeah.
And also, she was saying that it seems like we are further being oppressed, and the people that are getting opportunities are people who are coming from outside more than the people that were were born and raised in South Africa, which is something that
imagine the effect
is misunderstood.
Imagine the effect that is happening to the person whose identity was stolen, allegedly.
They have no life.
Imagine what is happening to the kids, because this thing of home affairs is even worse
when
if
you
are from
register your own
villages.
children.
These people, they don't just choose. They choose people from villages, people who are struggling to even go to town and fix this thing on a daily basis. Mzansi, hello. Mzansi, hello. Mzansi, hello.
Mr. Anonymous, how are you doing?
I'm alright, sir. How are you?
I'm good. I hope I'm not late because
No.
I think.
Not at all.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. You're speaking to Jafet Kuli from United States.
Yes.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. And let me say it straightforward. I like the way you tackle the issue of this Chidimma. I don't know. I'm just browsing and catching. I actually catch the conversation in the middle.
Yes.
But I believe you are trying to debate about this issue. I am, I would say I was a South African national.
Mm-hmm.
I was born in the Congo, but I grew up in South Africa. I came in South Africa in '96,
Okay.
and I left right before COVID. So I spent almost half of my life in South Africa.
Okay.
I lived in Cape Town, Bensale Kailich.
Yeah.
Wow.
From Kailich, I came to the United States. But I stayed for a while in town, places like Claremont, Mowbray, about buyers you Cape Town, so they would definitely see the area. So I kind of have the lifestyle. I understand how the vibe of just being a foreigner and living in South Africa and being treated and adapt the area.
Yes.
And learn. I was forced to learn to speak East Coast. So their Steda, their Funda, and their Tula, there was no Shumaela. So
Yes,
I just want to say one thing about the Steda. Yeah. I see zama pana pa bakema umtokondayo uzondiva. My accent will not gonna,
Yes.
it's always
obvious.
You can pick up that I'm not really a born closer.
Yes.
Nabantuana. My firstborn will turn 16. She lives in Tanzania, Monte. And my secondborn will turn 10. You said Delph, no mama.
Yeah.
One thing I want to say that it is right. I appreciate and I think I will encourage for South Africans to stand for their country. Because I will give the example of what is happening back in my home country. There is a war of lands. There are people from Rwanda claiming the land of Congo. They say they were born in Congo, some they just immigrated, but they claiming the land. There are people from Senegal. Some were born in Congo, and some just came in Congo. So there was a time after 1960s, there's a lot of immigration movement into Congo. So it's now creating a chaos because we don't know who's Congolese, who's not Congolese. And now they're fighting over power to the risk of being governed by people that are not Congolese, like born Congolese. Now, the people are fighting. They are those that are fighting for the right of the Congolese. They even try. There is a tendency of to request that the legislation and the constitution be changed. Like you can be born in Congo, or you can have one parent that is Congolese, the other one that's not Congolese, but they are strategical posts, strategical position in the country that you can only be a Congolese born of a mother and a father in the Congo to occupy those positions. Just to avoid this, just to avoid this trouble, that's all this chaos that is happening because there's you cannot control immigration. There is no immigration in Congo. People come in and out like we cannot even identify ourselves. People do not even have IDs. You don't even have IDs, so you cannot justify. So you have to be associated in a class, in an area that they bayakwazi bawuzelwe ngobani, bani mamako, bani tatako. For you, once we justify that we know who you are, then we can allow you to be either a mayor, either a minister, either even to a post of a president. Because lately here, the election that was happening in Congo, there is two Contestant. There was the one guy the one that is president right now. His name is Tshisekedi, and there was another Contestant. That guy, it's known. He claimed he was born in the Congo, but neither his mother and his father is Congolese. So we cannot have someone who's not autochthon to occupy a strategical post like a president, because he will always have a tendency. Let's say my own son, I know I'm not a South African, but the mother is South African.
Yeah.
But that child, if one day becomes a president of South Africa, my son, if he becomes a president of South Africa, he will have tendency to lean both sides. So which he can defend people from Congo, and he might not be able to defend 100% the people from South Africa because he is conflicted with these two nationalities. That's what I'm saying. So I encourage South Africans to fight for their land and identify. Now that is still early because you haven't reached the position or the place where the Congolese are fighting right now. It's still new. South Africa is a new country. You just got your independence and stuff like this. It's still now that you really have to check on it. The government has to really put things in place. The whole affairs system itself has to be really, really checked on because people are coming in and out and people are claiming anything in South Africa. But however though, the people of South Africa, especially Tina Abatubekala, we really have to not also forget that we are one. You know, this thing of hating foreigners just for the sake of basuka kwenye ndao or bamnyama, because now I had to fight because I'm telling you, I live in Kailicha. I know how many people. I can count over 50 friends that I've lost in Kailicha being killed just because they've been foreigners.
Yeah.
You know, that has to stop. That has to
true.
Stop. Yes, you know what I'm saying? So I was just calling to just make my input on that. I agree. And I really appreciate the way you tackle this Chidimma issue, because the other broadcasts, the other broadcast that's happening on YouTube, you can really feel the hate and the passion of, it's just misplaced and just a chaos.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate the way you really tackle this. So my input was just there to say, like, right.
Yeah.
So South African has to stand for their land, fight for your country, and watch out on those foreigners that are claiming in South Africa that one day you might have a foreign president, a Somalian president. That should not happen. Or a president that has to be like a minister that has to, not only on the black people though, on the white people also, because we don't know these white people. We look on those black, but we really don't know those white people are coming.
Yes.
In Mitchell's Plain.
Yes.
Yeah, in Mitchell's Plain. Those guys who are fixing cell phone, those Pakistani guys, they're having babies with colored people. So that child will be a colored. Nobody's gonna control if he's gonna see if that child is born from a Pakistani person. So you have to be vigilant. All these things have to be tackled, not only on black people only.
Yes.
Yes, there are other foreigners who are white and you can't even identify them. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
So true.
So yes. So yeah, that was my 2 cents.
Both ways.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's I'm like launching
what a comment.
it. If you have the information, release
what
the
a comment.
information.
I think I like the strategy that is being used that side of Congo. I like it. you mustn't occupy a certain position if you are half,
You become conflicted.
Mzansi, hello.
Hello, Mr. Anonymous and Ms. Emily. I really I'm lost. I'm trying to rewind, catching what you guys are talking about, but I can get the gist that you guys are talking about. The outcomes of Chidimma's status in South Africa.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought about it earlier, but because we're watching the Olympics, it's just that I have to share the TV in the space.
Yeah.
So I thought about it would be actually seeing that there's no case. I wanted to ask you guys, maybe that could be a talking point. It's actually amazing that you guys thought about that. Coming back to this issue, I think I concur with, I don't know what the people, there was a guy from the States.
Yeah.
I don't know what he said because I had to run to the end of your to catch up with you guys.
Awesome.
But as someone who lives overseas,
yes,
and how it's happening now in Britain, and my wife was scared. I think it's France had an election.
Yes.
The same thing that the British did, where the former prime minister, tried to have an immediate election, and then he lost. So Macron also did the same. He almost lost, but because of all the left had to come together and create their own coalition or GNU, just to push out the right wingers, because there's this woman Le Pen who is such a racist, and one of her things was to get all the foreigners out. Without even checking how legal they are, but it was going to be a hell of a thing. So I'm happy that they're not in power. So, and for me to think about Chidimma's thing is looking at us who don't have the pale skin. Yes, I think, Mr. Anonymous, if you see my profile, I'm not dark, but I'm not pale.
Yeah.
I'm not pale. And that is a thing that's a bit scary this side as well in Europe, because a lot of right-wingers are coming up, or nationalists are rife now because people are saying they're claiming their space. But there's so much that I appreciate about being in France, even through the history of colonization, is that they try to include those Africans that, because they know that they have a big hand in colonization. So a lot of the Francophone countries, people are here. For me, I'm an Anglophone, so I don't even speak French or properly. It's hard. But you know, at least you expect people to come to your level and speak the language.
Yeah.
But getting back to, I'm just trying to give the space that people understand for us being overseas as South Africans, especially Black South Africans, how hard it is, because a person who's white going and is South African here, it's not easy. They can fit in. This is home.
Yeah.
Until they speak, probably. But for anyone of color, whether you from the North African Egypt to Central Africa to South African Blacks, it is not as easy being in Europe. Whether you go to Germany, wherever, it's hard for people of color. And it's worse now with what's happening in England. So for me to hear and see my fellow Africans, part of the African diaspora that we're speaking about, Pan-Africanism, trying to have this camaraderie of Black people say, yeah, and if we're dealing with crime, deal with crime. But we cannot put everybody on the same blanket and say all foreigners. And I concur with the later caller that when we talk about foreigners, we're talking about people who look like us, whose languages you can hear these words that are similar or pronounced differently. because we are part of those individuals.
Yes.
Yeah, people will come and say, yeah, but we're trying to cleanse our... No, we're not trying to cleanse our country, because if we're trying to cleanse our country, we probably would have done it in 93 or 94 from the masters. I try to look at one thing on social media to find a video. I think there was one guy last week that I saw a video of. Let me correct myself. But even today, to find a white person defending Chidimma or speaking against this thing, you'll find white people getting on the bandwagon of foreigners must be out of South Africa, or we need South Africans to be South Africans. But you are not. Your roots are not here, because some of you have dual nationality. And to be honest, my son has dual nationality. I don't. If anything happens, I have to go back home. And when I see home now, I am sad. I'm afraid to come home. I miss my family back home, but I'm afraid to how we've become animals to people like us. And then we use the same propaganda that is being used by media to hate ourselves. We don't hate the people who have the change around our necks, but we hate the people who are opening spaza shops, going to the garden, who are paying less money by the same whites who are not saying anything.
I just have a few questions before you continue.
Okay.
I have one question. A caller that was calling here saying that in Congo, which is Africa,
yes,
they look at, for strategic position, they want someone who's pure Congolese. That means father and a mother. Why is that? Because that person, normally, if you have dual citizenship, you tend to be conflicted most of the time when those countries have to deal with issues. What do you say about this?
For me, in places like that and things like that, the whole purity thing does not exist in Africa or anywhere in the world. There is no one who's pure. There's no pure race. Even the Jews, if they try to find a pure race, there's no pure race in this world. Because everybody is mixed. And we all have, because we have so much generations that has mixed, that none of us, whether you call yourself Zulu or Sotho or whatever, you might find that you have ancestors who at some, we don't know what our ancestors did, who they slept with, and to make me, for instance.
No, I fully understand you, but the argument
so for the Congolese thing is that might be the standpoint, but still it doesn't make it right. If we are saying that we are all Africans, because at the end of the day is that the same Congolese are in a mess right now.
Okay.
Congo, Ghana, they are in a mess.
Yes, I think you have to listen to that caller from the beginning, because you will probably not be saying that, because he's admitting to that, but he's saying the cause of that, he's attributing it to people who are coming from other countries, such as, I think, is it Guinea or some who are claiming also that they are from
Rwanda.
Congo, and they are coming to cause
Ghana,
that.
it's Rwanda.
So I think the best thing now, I have one question before you continue. Now let's talk about DA. Let's say DA. What is your fear about DA leading this country? If your argument is holding on both sides, let's say DA now leads the country, what would be your fear about DA if they were to lead this country?
As you know, I'm from Cape Town. My fear has always been that DA is making Cape Town or the Western Cape Europe.
Exactly.
And for me, that's my fear. So if anyone in South Africa is trying to say foreigners out. There's a lot of foreigners in Sea Point.
Yeah.
There's a lot of foreigners in. We left French.
Yeah.
Sea Point itself, it's like the French capital in Sea Point.
Yeah.
So if that's my fear, is that look at what Helen Zeller said when it came to this issue of Chidimma.
You know why I'm asking you that question? You know why I'm asking you that question? I'm asking you that question because I believe that the submission of what the caller was saying about Congo, then it holds on both sides. If my father is from Nigeria, and then at some point I have to take a crucial decision that is gone as a president, now I become a president. Yes. My mother is a South African. I'm more maybe in love with my father's side. So I will end up being conflicted. I will take a decision that will seek to undermine South Africa, but alleviate Nigeria. That's exactly why you fear, because the people that you say are in Cape Town, they have a dual citizenship. So it should apply for all, isn't it?
Yes, it shouldn't be selective to people who look like you, because the people who are driving this narrative are black people, not white people. White people are probably puppets at the back and pushing the narrative and pushing the dogma into the propaganda into our brains. I'm not saying that we can't think, black people can't think.
They are.
Why are they quiet? Why are they quiet of an injustice? Where is the Helen Suzman Foundation? When it's Zuma and EFF, they open cases. Where is AfriForum? Those are the whites who are foreigners themselves.
Yes.
So for me is that as a black child, no black child or person of color created any borders, because now we're talking about borders. And yes, for you, we have been taught the system of if you have a house, you must have a fence. That's not an African thing, eh?
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
If you have a house, you must have a fence. The house protects you, because as Africans, we come from huts. When you take a hut, it's not the strongest form of building. But you know that around these huts, there are other huts as a community. My child leaves this hut, there's no door, whether there's a door, but we've seen the construction of it, we've learned of it. There's no door.
Yeah.
But if there's a door, if my child leaves this house, I'm not afraid, because there's a community. The concept of a village raising a child is no more in Africa, because there is elements of poverty, there is elements of crime, maybe due to poverty at times. Sometimes it's not just poverty, some greed as well. And there's those social ills.
Yes.
And someone said it when they depict the black race in the world. We are the only race in the world that can't move forward, because otherwise we'll be pulling each other down. Or we leave, we don't look back. And then we associate with the ones at our level. Now we become classist. Even in that class, we will never be equal to those people who are of other color.
Someone on this comment is saying you are conflicted. Your opinion is conflicted.
I am, because it is not an easy thing to speak about
and I
politics like this. And I think even they themselves are conflicted, because they might not think of it as I am speaking and thinking and having to internalize what I'm saying, because I'm very passionate on the point of, one, I am born on the continent of Africa. I do not classify as a colored. I do not classify as white. I do not classify as black, because what is black?
You classify as an African.
Even us as blacks in South Africa don't come from the same.
But the danger of not classifying as a person of no color, for example, as an African.
Oh.
One person, or even a person of color. One person from Netherlands can also say, therefore, I am an African. The very same person you fear. That person could say, I was born in Africa. That's the problem, I think, about the rules. That whoever was born in South Africa, he is a South African. So we have now
even
that generation is gone.
Identify.
Even though they don't identify, because me and you, we can argue that the generation that did whatever that they did during our forefathers' time, most of them is gone. But look, the generation that is left here and the generation that was probably born here is continuing from their forefathers' steps.
And nobody calls them out.
We do.
Helen Zeller is born of 2 foreign nationals.
Yes.
She is a prominent leader. She speaks on race. She even said that South Africa in apartheid was better than it is now. She can make statements like that.
That's the thing. It's democrats. It's the democrats that you guys are enjoying.
But it's their rules. It's their rules.
What rules?
You see what?
It's their
the law. The law is based on Roman Dutch law.
It's theirs.
Yes.
It's theirs. It protects the Constitution of South Africa. Protects who?
Yeah, it's a long conversation. Someone is calling. Can I?
Okay, can you take that? But for me, just to end, Mr. Anonymous, I think just for my part, to be clear, is that I believe that if you're born in the country and you put the country first, and you are not conflicted to another place, and you've invested yourself in this space, you are a South African.
Yeah.
Do you think?
But it's just that we need to also be honest.
So do you think Chidimma is a South African before you leave?
I think that a social media platform, what people have said about her, that she advertises Nigeria more than South Africa. I cannot comment on that, but for me, she's been here, she's born here, she's gone through the school system. I would say that she qualifies as South African.
Here's the last
That's it. Yes.
Chidimma was born through Pan-Africanism. One can argue that. It's through Pan-Africanism. Yes. A woman from allegedly Mozambique came to South Africa, and a father from Nigeria came to, whether legal or not, since we are talking about Pan-Africanists, there's no legal or illegal jumping of borders. So they came here to other Africans. They made a baby. The baby is associating more through social media with Nigeria, but that, according to Pan-Africanism, that baby, that child is a South African.
That child is our child. I'm sorry. that child is our child. Because if I can accept a white child,
she has no affiliation with South Africa. She had flags on her social media. South Africa was not there.
Would you put that child as a president?
Maybe we need to prescribe the rules. We need to draw up the rules, Mr. Anonymous.
At this point, Helen Zille is more South African than Chidimma. Do you recognize that?
Well,
but she says Europeans are better. How come? So she can say Europeans are better, but we can't say Nigerians are...
I am a South African. I love South Africa.
I'm trying to save the constitution.
Chidimma, on the other hand, is Nigeria. I love Nigeria.
And Maputo.
But I live in South Africa.
But she's saying that she's in this yard of Africa. She doesn't see borders with Chidimma.
No, but this is Miss South Africa. This is Miss South Africa. It's a category of a certain part of Azania.
But then we have to say that Chidimma must withdraw from the competition, because it's the competition that's brought up this debate.
Okay, no,
maybe we
you.
say, yeah, okay. Sure. You guys got
Mzansi, hello. Mzansi, hello. That's hello. Can you hear us? Hello.
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 Zanti Reality. Hi.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. Good evening. Oh, good morning. Good morning, beautiful
Morning, morning,
people.
morning. Yes.
Hi, Emily. Hi, Mr. Anonymous.
Yes, hi, how are
So, Emily, I can feel the side eye from Mr. Anonymous, so I'm going to take this up on your behalf. The issue, like when you say we need to communicate,
you? Yeah.
I'm going to take it a step forward.
Yeah.
We need to fight. Let us have the conflict, guys.
Yeah.
And it will be in a very civilized manner. I'm not talking, battles.
Yes.
I mean, let's sit down and disagree and say, the fact that you are right doesn't mean I am wrong.
Correct.
The problem here is when you come in my heart and take over and take my identity.
Yes.
And not everybody does that because others come correctly.
Yes.
And then there are those who come and then inconvenience. I had a personal situation where a person cannot get their old age pension. And I'm talking about someone deep in the free state.
Yeah.
They cannot because there's a battle. There's an issue, the bigger issue becomes, yes, Africa, we never had, Ubuntu, we never had fences and stuff like that. But we had a self of respect. We had self-respect. We had self-worth. A person would stand by themselves and say, that's where my cross stops. And we know not to, to infiltrate their space. We knew how to do that. Now we're not doing it. And I understand the previous caller is going, but maybe if we were not the South Africa, the great South Africa that we are, we would be able to include it in our ID as much as we include blacks and nationality. It would be easier to pick it up. Are you naturalized or are you born? And naturalized should be Pan-Africanism. If any one of your parents is not from South Africa, if you split, then you are naturalized.
Yeah.
And then there will be, it could have been that simple if we were not the South Africa that we are. But, point blank, we need to have this communication. And it should be as deep and I call it conflict, but conflict is not fight. We need to disagree, talk about these things, table them, and I can feel the side eye from Mr. Anonymous, so I'm not going to go there to where
it's like you can
started.
see him.
Why are we? For anyone to think I can come in and take over.
Yeah.
That is conflict.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I totally agree.
Thank
You
you very
can't
much.
go into someone's house and
People,
kick them
I
out
love
of their
you.
house.
I love you. I love you doing a great job.
I love you too.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Right. We continue having this conversation. It's funny. It was funny. Okay. Let's hear it.
Hi, Mr. Anonymous and Miss Emily. I hope you guys are doing well. I just wanted to add a bit about the guy who spoke about the Congo issue. Because I'm also Congolese myself, and I've been hearing you guys for a while now.
Yes.
I agree with him, and I kind of disagree with the caller who said after, because, when you talk about land is land. If you're South African, you should know the positions like government positions and all those things should belong to South Africans alone. If you start allowing other people to dictate South Africa, then that's when now this order will start coming in. You understand? So, yeah. And then in terms of, in general, we also have to understand that foreigners are not just black people. You know, this is the thing, because I'm sitting down and I'm trying to look at it in both sides. In a way, like, if suppose Chidimma was a white person, was it going to raise a lot of noise like it's raised now, or was it just going to be passed on like, oh, no, she's white, she's from Sweden, and she has a South African father or mother or whatever, and everyone just shut up about it? I don't know. Let's look at it in both sides.
I can safely say from my side, knowing South Africa, no, we wouldn't even know that
the investigation would
we
not
wouldn't even know.
Be
we
there.
wouldn't even know. That is mostly what I can give you. We would hardly know.
Because I was shocked when I found out that Helen Zille's parents are both German, and a lot of things made sense about how she's been moving. And I'm like,
hey, that's why I give you a sight. What do you mean you've been moving?
yeah, but I was shocked. I was surprised. I thought she was. I was shocked.
And she's talking about the constitution. That is good.
You know,
South African constitution.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense. Why?
Lindeni Hadebe, thank you for your gift. We saw it. I saw it and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. It. Please continue pressing that like button on top of that. And let us keep talking, guys. Let's keep talking. We are getting ideas here. Yeah, I like this. I think I like two colors for me. Congolese.
Yes, I love
I
the
like how
Congolese.
they
and I love the fact that they are bringing in both sides of the argument. Their experiences of living in other countries besides South Africa, some of the, I appreciate that.
Has a child in South Africa.
Yes.
He has kids in South Africa, saying no. I don't think my kid deserves to be a president that side, because he will always be conflicted.
You'll be like, when now the other people of the other country come in, you are on the fence.
Yeah,
you can't be decisive for
can
the
never,
people of the country you are leading.
You can
and
only
that
be
is
decisive
the problem there.
If it's not both your countries, but if it's your countries.
Maybe we should have a Pan-African where it's like a executive for all of Africa.
Yes.
Then there, anyone who's African can make or apply, and then but I feel like there should be that, because it seems like people want Pan-Africanism in South Africa.
I think
only.
I think also that's what a certain part that I will not mention the name is suffering from, because in a sense, they are more supported outside than inside South Africa. Some of them, even if they speak the ideas of open borders and all that, it's difficult for some of them to even agree to that. I've met members and they'll be saying, no, I don't agree with that. And you're like, okay. Like, there's that piecemeal. I accept this part, but this one I don't think I'm with it. So
that's where
then the question is, are you ready to have a president where you feel that a bigger picture, because this is a bigger picture of a country, if he was to become a president, the fear is there. Yeah, I mean, at some point, I for one was not sure what to vote for, but I will never say what I voted for. That's basically some of the things that we have to go through, and it's a difficult topic because it has been made this sensitive topic. But you go to countries such as Zimbabwe, for example.
Yes,
they have law and order there. They know what they want. You come there, you are Mr. Anonymous from South Africa. I don't think you will make it. Only if the certain regime accepts you, then you become that president. But you'll always know, they will always know that you are not a fully Zimbabwean. Because I've seen here someone saying, I think it's from Zimbabwe because it's Ndov. He said we had two presidents who are not Zimbabwean president, who are not Zimbabwean by birth or something like that. I saw that. I do read your comments because I'm closer to them. Yeah, but that's how it should be. You should know where you stand, so that when you are conflicted, someone can jump in.
Yeah,
someone
can just
to take the decision for the country.
Yes,
because when you are already conflicted, you feel like I'm disadvantaging my father's country. or disadvantaging your mother's country.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately.
You know what made me happy about Pan-Africanism?
Yes.
I think the country that understands Pan-Africanism is Swaziland.
Why are you saying Swaziland understands?
I just read that they are actually they are contributing to medical bill of South Africa. And I think that's a country that we never really had a problem with.
No,
it feels
we don't
like
have a problem.
it feels like it's South Africa.
They are South African.
Yes.
Honestly speaking,
you can literally go that side and come back, and
it's a walk. You walk in, you walk out.
Why is it with them it becomes so easy? We get along.
I can understand now when I hear that they are paying for the medical bill.
Zanzi, hello.
Hey, Zanzi family, how you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. This is a very interesting subject and sensitive at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm a South African and I live in America. I'm sure you guys can see my number there. The issue I have with the second caller is when he says somebody that looks like me. Right there, you then lost the whole topic or the whole subject. Because if you look like me, that means I should allow you to do whatever you want.
Yeah, and that's the problem right there. Yes,
and that's the problem here, and that's the main issue. We don't care how she looks, where she's from. All we want is just to keep the laws of the country. South Africa is a country; they have its laws. We expect everybody to come in there, respect the laws of the country. As a South African who lives in America, I can tell you guys, in America, we have two IDs. I have one that's a driver's license or just an ID. You can go and get that at their Home Affairs. And we have something called Social Security. The Social Security, the first four numbers, they already know you are not an American. Just giving them those four numbers, whether you Chinese, Indian, whatever, the first four numbers, they already know you are not American.
Yeah.
And that's everywhere. You watch the TV shows here in America, they deport people that looks like them, send them back at the airport, people that looks like them, just because they want somebody to come in their country and respect the laws of their country. So people shouldn't move away from that. We're not saying because she's black, so she shouldn't be vilified for being illegal or whatever. No, all we care about is just the laws of the country. What does the law say?
Yes.
And that the topic should end there. That's where the topic should end. What does the law say? They came out and clarified everything about that. So that's what we should be talking about. And that's what we want for anybody. I came here, I follow each and every law in this country, knowing I have people that looks like me here every day. And like I was listening to you guys and I'm checking into this guy here at the gate. The lady says, "What is that accent?" But when she looks at me, she assumes I'm a Black American. But as soon as she has the accent, she already knows, oh, he's not American. He's not American. But I'm not supposed to be angry or mad about that. I should care about the fact that I'm here, respecting and following the laws of this country, and that's what we want with anybody else. It don't matter if you look like me or you don't look like me. And trust me, guys, South Africa deports a lot of people, regardless of your skin color. If they catch you, that country will deport you. I know maybe it's not reported as much as we want, but South Africa will deport you.
If
they don't care how you look. You are
not here legally with the papers and you followed the process. You went through Home Affairs step by step.
Yes.
They deport.
Yeah, they will deport you. We had them. They stopped Bill Gates at the airport because he didn't have proper paperwork for his kids. Who doesn't know Bill Gates?
Who doesn't know Bill Gates? How come it wasn't reported? I would have loved to see it in the news, headlines.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not being reported enough, but South Africa will deport you. So people shouldn't think that it's only because she looks like me. No, it's just the law of the country. That's all we care about.
Thank you so much.
That's all we care about, and that's all we ask from anybody else who come in there. Just come in here, just be legal, just respect the law. Nobody's going to bother you.
And that is so true. And many of people who call us xenophobic don't want to understand that. That at the end of the day, we just want to understand, for you to follow the law of the country. That's all.
Of the country, yes. Regardless how you look. That's all we want, and that's all we ask, Yeah, thank you guys for taking my call.
Thank you so much, even for that extra bit of information. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Bye. Thank you, sir. Bye.
Right. Zanzi, hello. Hello, we can hear. Volume, please. Volume, please.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Hi. I'm good. Yourself?
I'm all right. Yes,
I'm good, man.
Hey, the sound at the back, we can hear. It's disturbing.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Is this some reality?
Yes. It is.
Yeah, okay. How are you doing? First time caller here.
We're good.
Welcome, first time caller.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I've been listening to your show for the past few years. Interesting topic today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, we had not. We could not talk about it because it's been trending. I don't know for how many days, and we're like, but isn't this going away?
Yeah, I'm sure. I've been asking myself the past few weeks, why aren't you talking about it?
But we're afraid.
It's quite an interesting topic. I am from Swaziland.
Swaziland.
We walk in, we walk out of Swaziland.
Swaziland.
So, no, I know it. I know about walking in and walking out of South Africa and Swaziland in between. I know, it dates back. I know from my grandfather. He would tell me about how soccer players would play football, like this guy Shongwe, who's on Super Sports these days. He would play football Larangwani for a team of Bavana Highlanders. And then the weekend for Chiefs, he'd walk through the border Bayondala weekend, come back on Monday. So it's been a thing.
Yeah, it's
crossing
like
borders.
Yeah.
But one thing about Swaziland that has kept it holding on to a culture is that the British, when they changed the system, they gave back the country, or they didn't give it back. The king at the time. The country was given back to political parties. That was the plan. Then the king, because the Maswati at the time were not educated, they were familiar with a lion.
Yeah.
So when the king was advised to create a political party, he created a political party called Kamalai. And then that political party had its symbol was the lion. So the other parties had other symbols. They couldn't use a lion or in this elephant, which represents the queen. So when people went out to vote the referendum, they ticked that lion. So that's how the King's Party won. And then because they had a majority, which South Africa never did in 1994, they could have went back to history. That was when, with the majority, the king made a decree and said, I'm ruling this country, no political party. From 1973 as in 71, there's never been a political party in Swaziland. And how they run the country is they have chiefs. There's a Tinkundla system. There are 53 Tinkundla in this country. And Tinkundla have chiefdoms.
Yeah,
Each chief knows who stays where and how many people. Like the apartheid when with the pass system.
Yes.
I'm sure every house in the apartheid, that's what I know. Every house had a book you had to write with the hostel system wherever families were. Me 7, me 2, mom and dad, and then 5 kids. There was a book landlini lesho ukuthi ni 7.
Yeah.
Kutawufika amaphoyisa from nga-2 ekuseni emabhuni angene landlini afuna kucheck-a leli bhuku lelo lakhanza ni-9 landlini nisengingenonge landlini but that would be the process nala kangwane kunaloko but akukho as bad as that kuyatiwa nje ukuthi leli khadi lapha kunabo bani and whenever kunenkinga in that leyo nkundla leyo iyati ishift ukuthi there's a nangabe kuthiwa inkukhu ngiyabekisa as small as that kuyatiwa ukuthi ngibani lo inkukhu iqhamuka kashongo umfana lo benkukhu la endaweni. So that's how they keep this thing ukuthi noma ungaqhamuka uPakistan utofuna store uyatiwa ukuthi wena uPakistan unesitolo lapha. Naso ubonakala so nalokunye nje this thing of girls sleeping with Pakistan siyakuthusa thina ngala kangwane seeing it from South Africa. Nasivakashile ukuthi hawu bosisi bethu ngala it is ngala kangwane it is shameful ngiyathusa ukuthi hey angivali kazinthiwa njani but yeah it is said that in 94 South Africa was let down by a political party.
Yes.
ANC hayi nje ama political parties. ANC they should have this thing lenziwa ngoZuma one talking about bringing back to the kings and that is the way it is. That's a Pan-Africanism getting like right now people are defending a colonial structure which is something very wrong.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but it's a fight that has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
That was a lot of information.
Someone is saying we have been complaining about these things as healthcare workers. People come to SA to give birth, and because they think their children will get citizenship, but our government turned a blind eye on this thing. And you see such, and truly speaking, you see this thing of Pan-Africanism. I am conflicted, to say the least. Why? It's because it still pushes politics more than anything.
Yes.
You see, once you talk about Pan-Africanism, that means you need a politician to stand for you. I believe that the kings should be standing for us.
I also happen to share the same
kings were
sentiments.
better in a sense of if we have even the issue of one king. I might be conflicted. People might say, yeah, even the issue of one king. Some people do not know that to have one king that is ruling the Zulus, it can be attributed to colonialism.
It's not supposed to be like that.
They were kings of surnames. Surnames, kings. That's how,
I don't know
if
how
we were
it
to
ended
reverse. But now we have one king that can take a decision forever, which is more like politics.
It's politics.
Yes.
It's
is. Like now it's an England way of doing things.
There's no African tribe or sub-Saharan tribe that works like that. There's multiple kings within one culture. Even the other cultures, it's like that. Even the Xhosa culture, it's like that. There's like a multiple.
So what with this thing of with this thing of Pan-Africanism, what about countries such as Egypt, Morocco? Well, it's a topic for another day. It's a funny topic. Guys, I think if you are not calling, I'd like to thank you for this topic. You have engaged for 2 hours. Please like the video and share the video. Chidimma.
Chidimma has made us talk.
Yeah.
No, she is famous now. Girl, go and pursue your dreams. Now you are famous, okay? Now you are famous. There is no need for you to force things and become Miss South African. There's no need anymore. Just go follow your dreams. You know, go do. You can do anything now. You are famous.
Yeah. No, this is where we close it. Thank you very much for engaging. It's nice to have such topics other than one topic that normally combines us here and the courts. It's courts.
To talk about something else besides that depressing case.
Africa. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Guys, thank you. We love you so much and we'll see you again next time.
Yes.